welcome back to the fourth session, the oil painting basics tutorial. We are continuing to work on oil painting portrait of a baby. In the first three classes, we had started with understanding the basics of the brushes, the paints, different oil paints, medium, and also how to work with the canvas. In the second class, we did a little more onto applying the first layer as well as identifying important lines from the golden ratio that can be helpful in placing a subject in the right position in the canvas. We did that and we started sketching also a little bit, drawing a little bit, making the superstructure of the subject, in this case our little baby girl. Then in the third class we did a little more than that. We started something called blocking or filling in by identifying dark and light, dark versus light positions in the baby's face, and we did a little bit of her hat, and we also covered a little bit of her shirt. So we continue the same right now to go over the details of her hand, and then we will also try to look at how we can modify or adapt this image to another background than what we have already in the picture. And for those who are joining in directly into the class 4, this picture is also available in the link provided that you can download, but it's also a good idea to have your own images available. As I have been explaining again and again in each of the videos, it's always the best idea to work on a live subject next to us. And in cases where it is not possible, it's the second best option to think of having an image either in a printed form like this or on the laptop or iPad or something to work on. Live subjects always prove to be best lessons when it comes to art. Okay, so we continue now to the painting. I have been using a brown, Van Dyke brown color. For the first layer and also to continue with the sketching as well. So I will do the same. And then I also did take a bit of white from Van Gogh brand. Coming back to the brands, again, it's your choice to pick up a brand that is suitable for you. Start with something basic and then try to move on to a brand that is convincing for you and adaptable for your own working style and so on. Use oils that are natural if you are sensitive to medium. If you are not so sensitive and you have a larger space to work with, it's also good to try with faster mediums. I still use raw cold pressed linseed oil, and I usually have it in a metal lid like this. So that's what I have. It's all the same. So we are continuing now. Every time we start, it's an opportunity for us to look at it for the fresh time, fresh in the morning or fresh for the day. And then, yes, there will be mistakes for us to fix. So it's a growth. So I'm looking at it now and thinking, okay, I have made some more mistakes that I want to correct. So I start there. And I noticed that this the shirt, I have pulled it up a little bigger than needed. So I'm just correcting that. That's one thing I noticed. And another thing I noticed was the ears that I made on this side. Maybe it could go a little thinner or smaller maybe. So I'm going to cleaning up my brush and going back to the brown to just make one small adjustment here to reduce the size of it. I'm still using the same round brush number 4. So I did this, reducing the size of it a bit, one tonality down, adjusted. And then one more thing I noticed that the hair, it's a little bit towards the upward side. She's got a very nice ponytail made somewhere. It's a little bigger on the other side that I wanted to make the curve proper. So I'm also doing that. Okay, so these are some major corrections that I noticed. And of course, I keep on noticing corrections as we move along. This is an ongoing process for me. It never ends. It's a learning process for me. So still correcting here. And I wanted to remove some of this slightly. Maybe and pull it up like this. Yeah. Perfect. And there's another thing I wanted to do was to there are some toys that she has with her. I was wondering whether I should place them or does it become stocky or so. She's got one toy, underneath her armpit in the picture, and I'm wondering whether I should take it up or not. But the toy that is here in front of her is so colorful, and I think it's got a character. I would love to keep that. So barring this toy, the other objects on the background are going to be changed. That's what I plan on doing. So this is my idea, that I will start working on the hands first to make sure that your excitement is just there in the place and you are full of energy and able to do justice to the hand. So we did look at 2 methods of approaching, isn't it? The first method was to have different palettes of colors, darker, lighter shades, and work on darker, lighter shades, versus filling it one light shade and starting to pull up darker shades inside. So we tried those as well. But for now, I think I will go by using the old method of darker and lighter shades combined, because the hand also has a lot of dark and light shades story to say. Yeah. And for ones who are just joining in, I do not have a methodology where I have all the colors mixed ready. I am spontaneous in that manner. I love to mix the colors directly on the canvas. That's just my choice. If you are someone who liked things to be more organized, I would definitely advise that you have colors picked up and then mixed color tonalities built, organized, and also have maybe different brushes for each color tonality. That's also perfectly all right. It's up to you to choose the way you want to work with. Yeah. So for now, continuing the way that I am used to doing. I'm doing the shades here on the elbow that is almost gone into her. It's close to her tummy, I think. So we cannot see much of it. That's one. And I do this. This is slightly lighter, so I'm just combining a little more of the white and building this frame. Again, remember, I think in the first class I had poured a little bit of the linseed oil into that, and I'm still using that. And if you again want to see, yeah, I've hardly used it. Try not to use too much of oil. It's at this stage it's not needed, and it's easier to work on when we have less oil on the canvas. Got this. And here I notice that there are some shades coming up in the arm that I want to highlight. So this is darker shade here, a darker shade here, and close to the place where the hand is right underneath her shirt. That is one darker place that I would like to do, and then the place where it hits the ground. Remember that. So remember that we are not working on thorough details yet. We are just placing light and dark as we see it. So there will be more chances for us to improvise, alter things around as we grow with the artwork. So I'm putting this. I'm doing her hand. I have done a finger of hers, and now I'm doing the other finger. And remember, the lighter shades are where the light is falling through. And there are some darker shades where, because of her folding of her hand, cannot see much of it because of the darkness. Remember that. And the picture shows two fingers, meaning I can imagine that the girl is holding her finger like this. Maybe both her other two fingers are folded like this, and that's how she is holding it. And here again, play with it. So remember, I was contemplating whether I want to build this little toy that she has. It looks a little stuffy for me to fill it here. I will avoid that. Instead, I want to grow and create the other two little fingers as well. It's not much of a job if you see. And this is where, our imagination works. So though we are starting with copying an image, let our imagination also flow through and build. So we have seen the two other fingers, how tiny they are and where they are placed. So you can imagine the other two fingers also behind. So trying to put them out and imagining the darker shades as well and making them, creating them. We will work on it as we go along. I noticed that the fingers also are a little bigger. Maybe I want to correct it as well. So I'll remember that when I'll do a little bit of correction now, and I will do a little more of it when I move on to the the floor area or the the floor area here. Maybe we will have something else instead of the floor area. That's what I will remember. For now, I think I am getting a hint of where dark is and where light is. So my purpose or what exactly I plan to do, I think it is accomplished for now for me here. And I noticed that, okay, this is a little bigger here. Okay, I have done that. Now I think it is time for us to go to the other hand. We already did a lot of imagination when we did the sketching of this hand. Because in this picture, I deliberately, it was not deliberate though, the picture itself did not have the full image of her left hand. And that was also useful for me to take it as an example to show you how to work with that. I've got some nice sunlight coming in. It's rare in this time of the day, but do bear with me. It takes a couple of minutes and then it goes away. So we are doing the other arm. I'm working on only the darker shades first, as you can see. And then the lighter shades. Okay. Just tilt the hand. That was the left hand of the baby, left hand of the baby. So I have got it. And now for the fun part of mixing imagination. We like this toy I said. So I think I will keep that because I like the colors and on the dimensions. There's going to be some challenge. I will tell you what it is. Even though we are going to copy this, it's not going to be 100% copy. Right, let's see. To play stuff. Okay, she's got the toy right next to her hand. So there's one circle. It's one circle. The center circle is right in front, so I will do that. Ah, good elements. Doing that. Okay, that's the center circle. And then she's got a nice circle going up to her hand. The other hand. It's almost touching her hand. I will remember that. Like this. Got that. Then there's another one. The red circle. So in my canvas, because of the size of the canvas and so on. The other two circles might not come fully, but that's okay. I mean, I'm not going to exactly, attempt to do it. But because I do this painting on the sides as well, I make sure that the sides will pick up that. And I'll show you just in a minute how I'm doing that. And when I do the sides, I'm concerned about how the sides look as well. So I try my best to show that. The sides. So once I'm done with the way it looks and I have a bit of an understanding of the proportions, and I'm happy with the proportions, I'm still adjusting the proportions. But I notice I'm not going to go in the details again, just checking the proportions and being convinced about them. Yes, so I've got this, and I can already see there is a one proportion error that I want to fix, so I'll do that. I'm just taking a bit of the tissue paper and removing this and trying to make this circle a little sharper here. Yes, that's what I wanted to do, and I did that. Having some space. I'm still noticing spaces where I could adjust or work on the superstructure of the toy. So I'm still doing. This is fine. Okay, for now, I think I will not go into the detail further, but I am convinced with this setup right now. Okay, so I'm going to go down on the side of my canvas. So where you see, because I work on the sides, I want the circle to end or appear on the sides. So I'll do that at this place. And I will do the same thing on the other circle as well. So there you go. I have placed all the circles from underneath as well. So this is how I go about it. I want the sides also to reflect the story that I'm telling in the canvas. Okay. So this is a kind of copy that we made. Fine. And now I go on to think of something else. So we discussed that the child is placed in an indoor atmosphere on a mat on the floor, and there is a couch I can see, and we can imagine that it should be a window on the on this side or the right hand side of the baby, and then to her back there is a door, possibly a wall, and so on. So there are so many elements up here, and I'm going to change this totally to an outdoor element. I want to place her on a, let's say, a greeny, grassy background, and I want a sky to be on the background. So it's going to be simple in a way to decide. So for me, I use the same, the golden ratio space as an element to take a decision on where I want the earth to come to a close and the sky to begin. And I think the choice is so obvious towards her eye, this line. And if you see, this picture also holds somewhere close to the eye the edge of the floor and where the wall begins in the picture, and not exactly close to the eye, but almost close to the eye line. So I will also go by that logic, and I like the golden ratio again. So this is going to be the line where I will draw the slit for the grass and the blue sky. And here it comes. So a part of blocking is also deciding on certain things, isn't it? So now we have decided a different background. So I will go on blocking, but now I want the blocking also to be done in the tonality close to where I want to get to. So it means that I am going to change color for the first time since we started the class. So we will shift to some nice colors to work on. I'm going to take, I have a Classico in the Italian brand, sky blue. I'm going to take that for the blue. And I know that this is really brighter for the sky. So I have a bit of the white also to go with it. So I'm taking a little bit of it and I will mix the white that I have, the mango white that I have, and try to get to a tonality that is not too bright, pepping up bright, because we don't want it to overpower. I want the focus to be on the child when somebody looks at the picture. So I don't want it to overpower as well. So for now, I will try to have this blue. See, already it is making some effect when you start with the blue. So I'm going to do that. And for now, I moved to brush number 12, a flat brush, to make it quick for me. Work on this area quickly. And mind you, in the space in between where you can see the wall, also I will cover what I'm going to do with the top. So I'm going to remove the picture for now from the frame. To be able to work on the sky. Again, even though we are working only on the second layer, the way we move the brush is going to be very important. So I am moving the brush horizontally as much as I can. And I will keep the same pace. Doing much with it. I've copied enough. So I'm going to experiment a little more. So this percentage of, even at the stages where you are requiring a copy, which is good as a practice, it's a good thing to copy from somebody else's work to learn, as long as we are clear about it, where we are taking it from. It is good, but the habit of learning alongside and introducing our own content or our own imagination into that, even the copy space, is very important for us to learn. Otherwise, we become, at one stage, we become really excellent at copying, and we might turn into, it could be good that, you are ending up becoming the best at copying, and then you get into your own comfort zone of copying. So you're nervous about introducing your own ideas. So we don't want that habit to build. And this is what I insist, even for children that are learning from me. Doesn't matter whether they are 6 years or 7 years old. They do start copying from somebody else's work as a practice, and they usually start with the easy paintings that are available on the net to pick up, and I do encourage them to start with that, but very soon I ask them to challenge themselves a little bit and imagining something and adding something on. Very much needed. Good practice. So we are going on to the filling at this stage. Can you see this is blocking, filling, whatever you call it. At this stage, even though it's a second layer, I want it to be perfect. So I'm checking on every single space that I can fill in properly and do it. The hair strands that you notice, okay, the hair strands going haywire from her, hair locks. That I'm not going to worry about. Again, that's a detail that I will not worry about now. I will do it after I'm done with the sky. How it looks. I am bringing it a little closer to me to make this easier, and I hope it's fine with you. One thing I would say about having it perfect is that the easiest way you can find out, in a cloth, it will be spotty, plotchy when you move it around. So you know that it still has to go on again and again and again until the plotchy or spotty space goes away, and every single minute yarn or thread in the cloth gets the color for every layer. Bringing it a little closer to me, and this is possible because it's a smaller canvas. When I work on bigger canvases, it's the other way around. I'm walking around. I have a small little IKEA stool that I'm actually sitting on right now. I climb on top of it and go around to reach the heights of the canvas that I need to work on. Yeah? But this is convenient, having a small canvas. Isn't it convenient to practice also? It's a good one to start with. So not too big, not too small. Good size to start, and figuring out how we can understand that space and do justice to that space. I usually ask this question to my students when they say, "Oh, I'm done." You done? Are we really done? And now there are some spaces that I have still not done properly. There's always areas that I know that I am yet to fix. And the most important area, the sides. So let's do the sides. It's a tradition not to do the sides in many of the artwork, and that makes total sense. I agree with that as well. When you have a frame, you don't need one to need to put in effort on the sides as well. But I love it. I love to give the option to my customers between choosing a frame or letting go of the frame. and saying, hey, by the way, the painting itself sits well on my wall and I don't need a frame. So we are going about completing the sides only for the sky area. We are going to do the same exercise for the green area just in a minute. So I did the sides. I'm going to do this side as well, only up to that section where we have the sky placed. Done. Okay. So far convinced. So I'm going to work on the green. Before even I picking up a green, I just want to touch upon that. Green is a strong color. It starts overpowering, and if you actually see the picture itself, the green on the mat is so strong. It has a character, and like I said, I want my subject to be the highlight and not the green grass. Even though I'm going to touch upon a green again, I want the green also to be downplayed a bit, not too bright. So I will, for now, go for possibly olive green, I think. Let me see where I have olive green. Lucky me, I find olive green, Bango Brunt. Lovely one. That's where I'm going to start with. And I will blend this olive green with white again, the same way I did the blue. And I don't bother too much to wash the brushes as yet. The blue is already light enough, so it's okay for now to blend in with the green. So if I have to show you what I'm doing, like I said, I'm also someone who prefers blending on the canvas directly. So I don't do too much of blending, but for you, I'm showing what I'm doing. So I've just mixed up the white along with the olive green that I took a little bit. So if I were to blend, I would blend it like this, but I love also doing it naturally here. Doing that, already the tonality is so strong, yeah? But that's our challenge, to make sure that we do justice to the subject and not have the background so overpowering. See how we achieve that these coming days. So I see this. Some of you might need a smaller brush if you're really worried about going near the baby. Oh, I did so much, I don't want it to go wrong. Have a smaller brush around to go into the minute details, minute area where you are touching upon the subject. And you don't want to disturb the whole effort that you did. That's also a good idea. But to be honest, this flat brush does help us. If you hold it like this, it helps us to go onto the sides, minute details as much as possible. I think it is pretty possible to try if you want to experiment. It's a good one to experiment the using a larger brush to go near delicate elements or spacing of canvas. You can do that. Otherwise, if you do not feel comfortable, that's perfectly all right to pick up a smaller brush, anything, any one or two, anything, depending upon how comfortable you feel with the brush. Just go with that and go near the subject and fill in the space properly. There's going to be a lot of places where we're going to go in. That's exactly why I suggested this idea. I'll tell you what, see what's going to happen here. Because remember, in the picture, we had this nice toy that the baby has, and we wanted to copy this. And can you see this? There are circles where from the circle you can see the mat. There are some circles. These are interesting spots, isn't it, for us to try. There are some spaces where you will still go underneath and do the green. In this, let's see, where do I want to go? There is this, the red circle has the green showing, meaning there is a hole from where one can see what is underneath the toy. That's one space. Aha, this is interesting. It's got really nice circles. Now I'm also getting a little bit scared. I want to go back to my foreground brush. How many spots does he have? There are 3 interesting spots that are going to show the earth. So I found them. I'm marking them. 1, 2. This is a big one. Maybe it'll go underneath as well, isn't it? In our story, we do have the one going underneath. There are 2 small ones. Maybe they are not that visible, but this is going to go underneath. I better be mindful of that. So, picking up the canvas, now it's going to be a little bit of a challenge on the sides. So underneath, it goes underneath like this. So I'm doing that. Maybe I will make it perfect in the next layering. But for now, I'm just blocking the space properly. Did that. So you see, it was helpful to have a smaller brush around in some spaces where you're not comfortable going around with a flat brush. I'm doing the sides. So this side is done. Again, look at the logic. So if I have to go on doing the green area, the fingers that we drew are also going to be covered on the sides with the greenery. Isn't it? There are some spaces here which will be green. And here again, imagine the tonality. Should I put the same green? I will darken it. Why? The shadow of the child is on this area, isn't it? So it's going to be slightly darker. So again, imagination. So I'm making it slightly darker here for me. Or slightly different, at least for our understanding that this is where it's going to be more darker because of the shadow of the child. Yeah, good. We get it right? Okay, so we didn't spoil the finger that we made. Good. Again, shadow of the hand and the body is here. So we'll keep on working on the green to make it. And remember, I was talking about adjusting the hand a little bit. I'm doing that here. people who are having this feeling that, oh, there's so much I want to do, and I notice this when I do that, I notice one more error when I do that. If you have such anxiety challenges, see, this is basically a place, a space where you relax. So if this is causing an anxiety for you in any way, the good idea will be to start noting down, oh, I want to make this change, I want to make this change. Maybe have a notepad around and keep writing it so that you feel a little more in control and feel, okay, there are some changes I want to do, but I can do it later, not now. Yeah? Give it the time and give it the space for you to help you come over the anxiety or the stress or the challenge that you're facing in your life. Art in itself has a healing tendency. It doesn't mean that you should stop going to your doctor. You must. And if need be, you must follow your doctor's instructions. But do remember that this is first for you to relax and enjoy. So even now, I'm talking to you, but I'm forgetting myself. Most of the time, I'm just lost in the beauty of this baby that I'm working on. So look at it as a way of enjoyment, and the secondary things will be flowing through in your life, like happiness, like money maybe, or fame, or anything that you want. It will come. When the time is, it will come. But until such time, just relax and enjoy the moment. Okay, that's so much of philosophy now for now. You're done with that. I'm not going to bore you more with that. I am going back to the shades. And I remember I just darken the shade here a little bit to show that there is so at this stage I'm trying to have some tonalities. This is again my imagination, isn't it? So it's not there in the picture. I'm building some of the background myself. I will go on working on the other side. The baby looks less challenging, at least, given that we had too many elements running around in this area. So this is a little bit much more relaxing, isn't it? So less to think of maybe, but at the same time, do not underestimate that as well and start going in different directions. Remember the direction in which or your brush is moving. That is very important, isn't it? So keep that in mind. Keep moving in the right direction and make sure the quality exists at every level. Okay. Taking a little bit more of the white and less of the green, because here there is. Remember, there was sunlight coming in from the window for our work. So right now we are putting the child in the nature. We still maintain the logic of the light here. So this is going to be a bit darker, isn't it? Did I make it darker enough to show the darkness? Good, we remembered. So this is going to be the darker section. That's going to be the lighter section. So I'll remember to add more white, which I do now. Like I said in my previous case as well, the speed and pace of our work should be more enjoyable rather than stressful. So if you are doing it faster than me, that is well and fine. Fast forward, move fast forward. If you are feeling that it's a little faster for me, I need to slow down, pause this, enjoy doing whatever you're doing, and come back to the place where you want to start again and look into what I'm doing. So enjoy. It's more important. So look at this. I'm doing a vertical. I'm just being lazy to finish it off like this, but I will remember to adjust it. Horizontally as well. What are we left with? Are we done? No, we're not done yet. The sides. Lighter space, darker space. Darker space should also be here, next to the toy. The shadow of the toy. Shadow of the hand. Keep that in mind. We are fixing as we go along. Right. Now we come to the side. This is the challenge. Where do we hold this? I did the side. I'm going to hold her here. Yeah. So go over this way. I'm doing it vertically, though everything has been horizontal, but I will remember to, once I finish like this, I'll try to go horizontally to keep the pace, and where I shaded, I will continue the shading also on the sides. So it looks connected. So that's how I have done the side. Okay, it looks a little flashy now, but right now what we have is this bottom. I'm going to finish it in a minute to show you how the overall thing looks like. I'm fixing errors as well as I go. Okay, I'm going to put her back safely. Wish me luck. This is a challenge. She's safe back here. Oh, yes. And let me push her in the direction that you can see it properly. Color as the green, because there is also green and pink and so many elements. Maybe I will take a bit of the brown to mix up the colors, and whatever is remaining in the palette, I'm just making the space to have another shade here to fill in. So it looks like there's something filled in. It's not incomplete. Did that for now, because there's a lot of colors going on, and when I have too many colors, then it's better again to go with the brownie shade to have for now. And when it dries, of course, it's easier for us to use as many colors as we want on the toy. I am going to put her slightly. This is where the challenge is, but still, we will survive. So I go underneath. It's also a good idea to wait until it dries. We don't need to do all the circus, but I love doing it. I love finishing it layer by layer as soon as possible. For that purpose, for a simple purpose that I can say, okay, one layer is done, and that's how it looks. And then I can also see the mistakes or changes that I need to make. So this is how it is. And what happens to my hand is always that. Always have a nice little tissue around, or also a cloth around to wash or wipe or something. It's a good habit if you're someone who's like me, eager to go around the sides as well. It's good to do that. I am for now convinced with the second layer of work, and what we call this as is blocking or filling, managing the space. Sorry for the camera. Yes, managing the space. So we have used the space. Okay, are we done? Yes, we are. We'll just go over what we did quickly today. So in this class, we continued with the blocking process from class 3. We had to work on her hand, and we did a little bit of imagination with her hand where the fingers were not shown in the original image. So that's why we did a little bit of imagination and creating the fingers where it's not shown. And we decided the toys that we had in the picture. There was one toy that is too close to her body, almost invisible. We avoided that. We took this toy that has nice character in it. And then the indoor atmosphere that we had, we decided to change it. So what I have chosen is a sky background and an outdoor atmosphere. So green grass, lush green grass, whatever it's going to come. So I made space for that, blocking it with lighter green, and we blocked the sky with a lighter blue. And we used the golden ratios line. Right now you can see that the main lines that we use in the golden ratio are now vanishing. So you see, you can hide it. So the next attempt will be for us to wait for this to dry. That's a good habit to wait for it to dry if you are new to oil painting, because you'll start noticing in a couple of days that so many mistakes that you want to fix, or if not mistakes, the changes you want to do, and so on. So let it sit while you think and rethink and keep making notes. You're good at mental notes, fine. Or if you want to keep a notepad or a pen with you and keep writing on the changes you want to do, that's also fine. Wait for a while for it to dry. At the same time, keep thinking. And I can already think of something that I want to fix. Her eyebrows again, maybe slightly bit here. Yeah, I did that. Yeah, super. So I'm going to say stop now. Yeah. So thank you so much for watching this, and I hope you enjoyed along with me, painting along with me, and learned something. And if you know more techniques that we want to discuss in the tutorial classes, please do share your comments. I'm looking forward to seeing what you are doing as well. So do take a picture and share on the comment section if you're working on something similar, or if you're working on another subject, also to share that. It'll be interesting to watch. Thank you very much, and looking forward to our class 5 together. Have a nice day. Bye bye.